My sister is the cold, smart one, while I'm the fun-loving underachiever. She flirted with a big shot from Hong Kong at a bar and gave him my name. Later, she begged me not to tell our parents, and I generously agreed. To play the role of the scandalous woman, I spread the rumor that the big shot wasn't impressive in certain areas. Who knew after college he'd show up wanting to marry me? I quickly explained, "You got the wrong girl, I'm her sister." He raised an eyebrow. "What a coincidence, I'm his brother." I was stunned as he cornered me. With a casual flick of his fingers, he unbuttoned his shirt. "Look closer, who am I?" "That mole." "Wait a second, how is he the big shot?" "So, who did my sister actually flirt with?" "That was my brother posing as me. Those rumors made it hard for me to find a wife, so now I need one." My brain was fried. My sister and I are twins, but we've always been polar opposites. She's quiet, loves reading, disciplined, and skipped 2 grades. Me? I'm all about fun and excitement. I love kicking back with folks from all walks of life, so my grades barely ever rise above last place. While I was rebelliously dating, my sister was working on projects with her professor. Seeing my lost cause, our parents declared my sister the future CEO. I clapped with joy. This meant steady income for life. After all, my sister adores me. During my sophomore year, she was a senior with a new boyfriend, lost in her love bubble. I was still dreaming about his kiss when she shook me awake. "Laura, help. I drank too much last night and slept with a guy." "Whoa, where? Is he hot? Was he good? Got abs?" I asked eagerly. She looked so pitiful. "I don't remember anything except his name, Vincent." Vincent sounded familiar, like someone powerful in Hong Kong. I grinned, nudging her. "Way to go. Hit him up again." Her face turned. "Laura, I told him I'm you." I nearly choked on my spit. "Sis, couldn't you rebel a little earlier? I'm too young for this burden." She reasoned, "Mom and Dad want me to take over the company. If Dad finds out, he'll kill me, and who's paying your allowance if I don't?" Fair point. My sister's the best. Once she runs the company, I can comfortably be a pretty parasite. I tapped her shoulder heroically. "Don't worry sis, I'll handle it. From now on, any Vincent drama is mine alone." She squeezed my hand gratefully. "I'll cover all your boy toy expenses." Waving her off, I promised to keep the big shot at bay. For my sister's sake, I canceled a date with my boyfriend, who retaliated with a pics. He messaged, said you wanted to touch, why aren't you coming? His words melted my heart. Missing you. Thought you liked my mole, not anymore? I calmly responded, busy, babe. Handle something first. He video called out of nowhere, and I frantically hung up. Despite many voice chats, revealing his face pre-meeting seemed wrong. We stuck to body pics, letting imagination run wild. At the cafe with friends, he sent a heartfelt message. Is there someone else? Am I not your one? It was cheesy, but it cracked me up. Sweet, charming men, who doesn't love them? I then spread the tale of my wild night with the big shot, crafting the perfect plan to stave off his return. When friends asked about his skills, I summed up with a sly, short and sweet. Word spread, even reaching Hong Kong. I admit, it was deliberate, but blame my friend's obsessive sharing. Plus, Mr. Big Shot, so aloof and reserved, was untouchable. Nobody dared fact-check my rumors. Satisfied, I moved on, continuing my long-distance romance with my wholesome charmer. Sadly, we missed yesterday's meetup, and he was busy now. No problem, I'd wait. That stretched to senior year as I realized our 2-year romance was utterly platonic. Still, my sister got her degree and took over the company. As I prepared to meet my online sweetheart, my sister eloped. My parents demanded answers. Was I leading her astray? Come on, I didn't even know she had a boyfriend. With her running the company, we barely saw each other. Dad slapped me. Your long track record of mischief has led her astray. Super annoyed, I tried reaching her to no avail. With nothing left, I drowned my sorrows at the bar, forgetting all about my sweet guy. In a tipsy haze, someone appeared, voice steady, "You're drunk, I'll take you home." Seeing double, I shook him off. Buzz off, my boyfriend's super buff. Unfazed, he grabbed my hand firmly. "I'm your boyfriend." It was impossible to make out his face. He took my hand, placing it on his shirt. Oh my. Solid abs, indeed. Not bad, just what I needed after my sister's drama. "Look closer," he urged. I grabbed his face and shook it gently from side to side until I spotted the little mole on his neck. Then I grinned. "So it's my boyfriend who's come to find me, huh?" His Adam's apple bobbed as he grabbed my waist tightly. After that, everything went black. When I woke up, I was in a hotel executive suite. Alone. I felt awful about having a fling with some stranger. It wasn't fair to my boyfriend. Meanwhile, my sister sent me a photo. She said she never imagined life could be so adventurous and urged me to step up and take over the family business because she was off to go skydiving. I reluctantly sent my long-distance boyfriend a breakup text, full of resignation and reluctance. Graduating college, rebellious sister, forced to take over the family business. Looks like we're not meant to be. Let's end it here. After sending the message, I lay down and napped again. My body ached, a reminder of the wild night I'd had. Funny thing is, I didn't even recall what he looked like, just that he had hard abs. When I got home that evening, there was a new man in the house. My dad's face was all creased with smiles. "Laura, come over here. Young Master Vincent is here to propose." "Wait, who? Is this the guy I spread rumors about being impotent? Is this a proposal or an assassination attempt?" "Dad, I have some things to handle, gotta go." "Laura." A clear voice rang out. I glanced back. His expression was inscrutable, with striking features and sharp lines. Looking into his eyes, I realized he was out of my league. Trying to be brave, I greeted him. "Do we know each other?" A faint smile brushed his lips as he stood up and approached me. His presence was imposing, and I felt cornered. "2 years ago, you spread rumors about me being useless. Shouldn't we settle the score? Isn't it a bit late for that?" I instinctively glanced at my parents. Why bring this up? Isn't he embarrassed? Pulling him aside, I whispered, "You've got the wrong person. I'm her sister. It wasn't me who slept with you that night." He raised an eyebrow, and the mole under his eye seemed oddly attractive. What a coincidence, I'm his brother. My brain did a double take. Still confused, I cautiously asked, "What do you mean?" He naturally took my hand with his long fingers. "It's simple. Marry me." Is he insane? I haven't even met you properly, and you're talking about marriage? Besides, I have a boyfriend. He looked displeased. "Didn't you just break up with your boyfriend?" "How do you know I broke up?" Crap. Did I just expose myself? Running on empty, I decided to stick to the run if you can't win approach. But he followed me. In a secluded corner, he suddenly began unbuttoning his shirt. I stared at him wide-eyed. "What are you doing? We can't afford to mess with your family, just leave me alone." He lazily undid the third button, revealing that familiar mole on his chest. I knew it well, having chatted about it for 2 years. "You wouldn't be saying you're my never-met online boyfriend, would you?" His lips curled into a smile. "Took you long enough to realize." Frowning, I said, "Seriously? Who pretends to be his older brother? Aren't you too old for this? Aren't you embarrassed?" Speechless. Though I admit he's got a great physique, I assume as the head of a family, he must be at least 7 or 8 years older than me. Vincent's face briefly stiffened. It suddenly hit me. Wait a second, was it not you my sister slept with back in the day? It was obvious he was holding back. He restrained himself as he answered, "I told you, it was my brother." What a goofy family, the brother posing as the older one to hit on girls. Yours isn't any less goofy. Your sister used your name to spread rumors about me. Guilty, I thought, that was my doing. As he braced himself with his hands on either side of me, he revealed, it wasn't me who slept with your sister back then, it was her now boyfriend, my brother Felix. But it was me who slept with you last night. My eyes widened in horror. Yesterday, I thought I went with just some random guy. Now I'm furious. I punched his chest. I won't marry you. This big liar. Even dared to block my door after our breakup. And to think he ran away after sleeping with me. Why not? Our difference in status is too big. You should go back to your hometown and marry a girl from a good family. Laura. Because of the rumors you spread back then, no one is willing to marry me. So I need a wife. Can't you take responsibility? I maintained a polite smile. I'm sorry, my current focus isn't on marriage. He looked shocked, lips tight, like he just made a huge decision. If you think my timing's bad, I can hold off a bit. What is he talking about? I don't get it. Resolute, I put on a cold front, trying to break his heart. Vincent, my sister is too rebellious, dumped the family business on me, so I really can't marry you. No way, I'm not ready to settle down with an old guy. Sure, he's got a great physique, but impersonating his brother is enough to hold a decades-long grudge. Plus, with my dad being so cozy with him, even a small conflict our way and I'd be the bad guy. Suddenly, my dad showed up, eager. Vincent, care to join us for lunch? Vincent's expression was indifferent. No need. Once you convince your daughter, get back to me on the project. And he was gone. My dad erupted. What did you say to him? I didn't say anything. I don't care how, but you have to secure this project for me. Consider it your entry test for the company. Why do I get the tough test? Didn't my sister join the company right out of graduation? Because you and your sister are worlds apart. She's brilliant, look at the mess you're in again with men. Disgusted, he stared at the marks Vincent left on my neck. Self-deprecatingly, I chuckled. My sister seeks true love, and they say nothing. But when it comes to me, I'm a disaster. Yep, messed around with someone he wants to cozy up to. Holding my frustration, I swore I'd snag this project. I just turned Vincent down, and now it's kinda awkward to reach out to him again. So, I had to ask around with my girlfriends and try to engineer a coincidental meeting. While doing so, I found out Vincent is really busy. Taking time out for our online romance must have been a real effort for him. When I finally saw him again, he looked at me like a stranger. At the party, I wore that black dress Vincent had once complimented. I casually walked up to him and raised my glass, acting all surprised. Vincent, what a coincidence. He didn't even look my way, let alone respond. The people beside us just watched, amused. So embarrassing. This was my first official business event. I didn't want my debut to be such a fail, something people would mock. Since he ignored me, I decided to talk to someone else. Stepping aside, I introduced myself to another guy and struck up a conversation. From the corner of my eye, I saw Vincent skillfully handling people trying to cozy up to him. That's when the harsh truth hit me. He's the big boss, drawing everyone's attention even just by standing there. But me? I'm just some clueless rich girl nobody cares about. Heart aching, I realized how useless I felt outside my ivory tower. In the business world, if you don't have a voice, nobody gives you the time of day at these parties. After a few pointless chats, I quietly retreated to the back. Not off to a great start. Doing business isn't as easy as I'd imagined. My sister managed to snag a big deal not long after joining the company. So, I sent her a message, venting about my situation. Then, a shadow loomed over me. I looked up and locked eyes with Vincent. Oops, wrong seat. I noticed the girl standing next to him. She had an amazing figure, wearing the latest dress that's not even on the market yet. Clearly, with big shot backing, her status is worlds apart. My bad. Hastily, I got up and left with my phone. Guess that saying holds true, you ignore him one day, and the next you can't reach that high. After a few drinks, I stepped outside. The cold air made my mood heavier. Especially when my sister sent me a photo of her diving, I just couldn't hold back the tears. Why am I crying? Over what, exactly? Just that I'm a failure at everything. Can't chase the life I want, nor finish tasks my dad sets. Going home means another round of scolding, maybe even a slap. I've grown used to being hit, but I'm still a girl, and I do get hurt. Thinking about it, I lost control, sobbing, who cares about me now? Random people can judge me? Suddenly, I was pulled into someone's arms. A familiar warmth. His chest was burning. It was Vincent. When did he follow me? His voice was cold, no warmth at all. Delete him. I clutched my phone, not wanting to look at him. I felt too pathetic. Tears and snot running down, and no tissue in sight. His grip on my wrist was painful, almost too strong. Let go. Laura, I said, delete him. What's this authority act? Just because I texted my sister, does that bother him? In anger, I wiped my nose on his fancy suit, looking up at him. Why should I listen to you? Who are you to me, anyway? Just now, weren't you acting like you didn't know me? Ignoring me. I hold grudges for a long time. His eyes flashed with a bit of panic, his tone slightly resigned. You were chatting away with Sam, what's making you cry now? Weren't you also chatting with beauties, yet still had time to notice me? He suddenly smirked and, almost knowingly, said, you care about me. Before I could respond, flashing lights nearly blinded me. Vincent immediately wrapped his suit around me, holding me, guiding me somewhere unknown. I heard him on the phone, tone irritated. Go through tonight's guest list and warn them one by one. Then, I heard a door close. Next, he removed the suit. Only then did I realize we were in a hotel room we had once used. Why'd you bring me here? He lounged casually. You got my suit dirty, I can't be seen like this. I looked at the obvious snot stain and said with a frown, I'll pay for the cleaning. Vincent casually sat on the couch, shirt slightly open. The way he looked, like a charming fox. My suits usually don't get washed. So, what do you want? I wanted to leave, but thinking of my dad's task, I had to bite the bullet and stay like a turtle. His long, narrow eyes slightly raised, a tiny mole moved slightly. Unavoidably, a scene from that night flashed in my mind. Those eyes filled with lust, over and over calling my name. So different from the guy in front of me now. Fortunately, I wasn't drunk enough to make any more foolish mistakes tonight. His voice suddenly got firm, you're staying here. I raised my voice several notches, no way. We don't even have a thing, what am I staying for? He chuckled, washing clothes. I froze, eyebrows raised, you're serious? Your high-end suit, I wash it? He nodded, only you wash it. Doesn't he worry about me ruining a suit that needs special care? I'll take it home, wash it, and bring it back. What, finding an excuse to schedule our next meeting? His offhand comment nearly made me explode. Vincent's reading must be top-notch. Seems it's somewhat better than yours. Then, he took a call, turning serious as he left. Before closing the door, he glanced back, without my say, you can't go anywhere. I clutched his suit tight. It's just washing a suit. Once it's done, doesn't that give me a leg to stand on for a request? Sadly, the suit wasn't washed, and a stranger showed up. At the door, I said, Vincent, once this is done, you owe me a favor. Yet standing there was an unfamiliar woman. Elegant, with a unique aura. She gave a disdainful smile. Are you Laura? And you are? I'm Vincent's mom. Why are you in his room? Ma'am, hi, I'm here to wash his suit. For I answered honestly. Doing laundry? She looked at me in disbelief, walked in, and glanced around, as if inspecting something. I asked, feeling a bit uneasy, "Are you looking for him?" "He's out." "No, I'm looking for you." "So, is she checking if I'm messing around with Vincent?" My pride kicked in, so I went on the offensive. "If you want me to leave your son, no need to say more. I have nothing going on with him." She raised an eyebrow slightly. "Smart move. I've already picked a bride for him. I hope you won't show up in front of him again, or tomorrow's headlines will feature you." So, that flash just now was arranged by her. "Seeing you understand, I won't ruin you." "No. I've never really been cooperative. My rebellious spirit outweighs my 98-pound frame." I smiled. "What to do, ma'am? Even though I have nothing with him, doesn't mean he doesn't have feelings for me." "What do you want?" "Money." "How much?" Without a second thought, I replied, "If you can get him to hand over the Bay Area project to me, I'll reluctantly agree to your request." She gritted her teeth. "You sure have a big appetite." "Yeah, I've got a healthy one. You've raised two great daughters, one would my younger son, the other dreams of being my daughter-in-law. Let me tell you, you're dreaming. Insult me if you want, but not my sister. Your family has a great daughter-in-law too, treating her sons like puppet dolls. I didn't know Vincent's such a mama's boy at home." "Thank you for making that clear." "Laura, what are you doing?" I looked up and saw Vincent's angry face. "Oh, I insulted his mom. But so what? Can't just let them talk down to me." I straightened up. "Now that you're back, I won't disturb your family reunion." Vincent said in a somber tone, "Laura, explain." "Explain what?" "Ma'am said it all. Don't worry, I won't bother you anymore." Leaving the hotel, I sighed silently. That project, I'll never get it. What a waste. Should probably start job hunting again since I'm likely to mess up and lose money. Wandering aimlessly down the street, the autumn wind chilled to the bone. A car stopped in front of me. "Laura, get in." It was Sam, the guy I was just talking to. "No, thanks. I'm not like some people, stringing along one person while being unclear with another." "Laura, you interested in the Bay Area project?" "My family's also involved." I glanced at his confident expression. Maybe it's worth hearing him out. So, I got in the back seat. "Laura, treating me like a chauffeur, huh?" "Sam, I'm just avoiding misunderstandings with your girlfriend. Didn't forget what Vincent's mom mentioned. There could be paparazzi snapping photos. Laura should realize Vincent's family isn't the only one with power. You didn't just come to me by accident. I searched for him simply because he's conveniently closer to Vincent." Looking at the reflection in the window, I replied dismissively, "Yeah, things are going well for your family lately." Laura got one thing wrong. I currently don't have a girlfriend. Wondering if Laura's interested in being mine? Wait up. What's he mean by that? I glanced at him in the rear-view mirror, feeling a slight blush. "Sorry, Sam, I just remembered I left something behind. Could you pull over? You think you can just leave after getting into my car? This guy's got guts." I quickly dialed for the cops. "Hi, I'd like to report a drunk driver on." He slammed the brakes, turning to face me. "Laura, why act so high and mighty? You've been with plenty already. That's none of your business. Dirty minds see dirt everywhere. If I'm serious about dating, what's wrong with a little fun?" None of his business. I tried the door, but the lock was engaged. He grinned menacingly. "Sam, you thinking of expanding too much business?" "Certainly more than your family." "Then I'll have to tell my husband to help spread your load." He looked incredulous. "Your husband? Since when do you have a husband?" I unblocked Vincent from my list and called him. In a sultry voice, I teased, "Hey hubby, Sam wants to do business with me, but he doesn't rate you. What should we do?" "No matter, I haven't lost yet on someone I set my sights on," came Vincent's icy voice. "Wanna try me?" Apparently, in my panic, I had hit the speaker button instead of hang up. Sam turned pale, his confidence cracking. Just knowing Vincent doesn't cut it, you're still in my car. As soon as he said that, there was a knock on the window. Vincent's fierce face appeared. I watched him smash the driver's side window with a fire extinguisher. The lock released, and I quickly pulled the door open and ran. Vincent yanked Sam out forcefully. You think you deserve my girl? He was just wearing a shirt, landing blow after blow, leaving Sam a bloody mess. Vincent. That's enough. I already called the police. Only then did he let up, taking my wrist as we walked away. He'd been trailing me. A stretch limousine with a noticeable Z license plate. He pushed me into the back seat, ordering the driver to put up the divider. His presence overwhelmed me. I moved away slightly, whispering, just now, I didn't mean to call you. Call me hubby again. Come on, this is hardly the time. What's on his mind? Laura, I've liked you for a long time. His sudden kiss left me flustered. We were just fighting, and now this. He kissed tenderly, and instinctively I closed my eyes, surprisingly leaning into it. My hand grasped tightly onto his shirt collar. I just told you, he's not a good guy. How could you still get in his car? Because I didn't get the project my dad wanted. I'll get scolded when I get home. He grabbed my hand and placed it on his abs. Why didn't you just ask me? You know I'd say yes if you asked. How come I never noticed you're such a romantic? I joked, half seriously. It's not that I didn't want to ask him. I just suddenly felt like I wasn't good enough. He kissed the back of my hand, only for you. That girl earlier, she's just my cousin, no relation. You don't know how much I've wanted to come back, but I've been stuck for 2 years. With just a few words, he cleared away the unpleasantness. I have to admit, he's got away with things. I can't figure out how, when we haven't even met before, he could have such deep feelings for me. Vincent, could you please take me home first? He frowned. After all this, you still want to go home? I glanced at his messy clothes and nodded. I've got things to do. Can't it wait till tomorrow? No. I can't let someone like Sam get the wrong idea. Laura, refuse to be someone who just relies on men. When we met online, he was the lazy one at home, and I was just a sweet nothing. We were a perfect match. But now that he's become someone important, how can I match him? Vincent narrowed his eyes slightly and slowly pulled his hand back, then told the driver my address. As I got out of the car, he called out to me one last time. Laura, you know I'd give it to you if you asked. Why don't you ask? Because I want to be someone worthy of you. Not a fool looked down upon by your family. Vincent, thank you for today. I bowed deeply. He closed the window without acknowledging me. I knew he was upset. When I got home, my dad gave me a harsh scolding. Such a loser. If it were your sister, she'd at least have a verbal agreement by now. Yes, I may not be as good as my sister. But can't I start at the bottom? After a slap from my dad, he finally agreed to let me start from the ground up. My face stung fiercely. But it strengthened my resolve. Since that day, I haven't seen Vincent. I only heard the next day that Sam got 7 days of detention for DUI, and his family's stock prices plummeted. Sam's dad personally went to Vincent's family with a gift to beg for cooperation. And I began my journey as a rookie in the workforce, doing everything from serving coffee to drafting contracts. I didn't skip any basic duties. Being a workhorse by day and a scholar by night. I made up for all the learning I'd missed over the years. Thankfully, my sister remotely guided me. If I didn't learn something the first time, I learned it again and again. Repeatedly, until I was worn thin. 2 years later, I finally became the second in command of the marketing department. Vincent seemed to have disappeared these last 2 years. I heard he went abroad to avoid an arranged marriage. That's good because at least at events, I don't have to worry about running into him. The day I signed a major contract, my dad called me in high spirits. Laura, there's a dinner tonight. Come with me. What kind of event is it? Just go if you're told. Why so many questions? My dad's been quick to anger these last couple of years. I suspect he's going through menopause because even mom doesn't want to deal with him and has gone abroad. That night, I went with him to a club in the Port District. It felt off. What kind of client requires us to come here? Until I saw Vincent sitting in the main seat. It's only been 2 years. He seemed even more composed, with sharper features. I quietly avoided looking at him to not lock eyes. But my dad, like a bull-headed fool, wouldn't stop dragging me to toast him. Vincent, happy birthday. It's his birthday today. It's only been 2 years, and I've almost forgotten how passionate our online romance used to be. Vincent, happy birthday. I respectfully raised my glass, but he left me hanging, saying nothing, not even toasting back. My dad gave me a look, and I got the hint. Vincent, I'll finish mine, and you can do as you please. Then, I downed a whole glass of strong red wine. People around cheered, and I bowed politely and left. Not a hint of hesitation. This way, he shouldn't think I came to seek him out, right? Beside me, my dad sighed. When he proposed back then, I thought he was interested in your sister, but then she said she wanted to go abroad to start her own thing. I glanced at my graying-haired dad, still working hard at his age. It wasn't easy. I patted his shoulder. You okay with handing the company over to me now? I'm not as smart as my sister, but I believe hard work can make up for a lack of talent. No big talent. Your mom and I agreed that seeing you grow up happy was enough. But Dad's temper, I know it's not great. You know your temper's bad, huh? Those slaps always hurt a lot. Since when did you get slapped? A cold voice sounded behind me, and I quickly turned around. Why are you here? He pursed his lips and looked at my dad. My dad smartly left us alone. This is my private place. Can't I be here? I quickly straightened up. Vincent, sorry, we didn't know this was. I hadn't finished when he suddenly hugged me. Stay still, just let me hold you for a bit. My tense body slowly relaxed. The warmth from him brought back a long-forgotten yet familiar feeling. Laura, how have you been? Pretty good, except for sometimes not getting enough sleep. But I'm not well. I can't sleep. I miss you a lot. Vincent, are you drunk? He suddenly released me and held my shoulders. Those eyes shining with starlight. If I said I was drunk, would you stay? This face appears every night in my dreams. And in the morning, I kick him out. Repeat again and again, and it becomes etched deep in my memory. I raised an eyebrow. If you want me to take care of you, maybe I could. He intertwined his fingers with mine, a smile spreading in his eyes. Really? With a condition. What's the deal here? Would you consider partnering with our company for your next project? His hot breath swept over my chin. Didn't I already tell you? You can use me. Back then, I was so naive. Always thinking I could make it on my own, believing self-reliance was the way to carve out a path. Who would have thought in this world, connections can sometimes be a resource too? Sometimes, you gotta be a little flexible in your thinking. That night, I stayed and had a wild night with Vincent. His craziness was on a whole new level. Kinda wish I was still that girl who got drunk easily. At least I'd black out and forget everything. Wouldn't be lying here in bed cursing him in my mind a million times. The contract for the partnership was personally delivered by Vincent. My dad was so excited, his high blood pressure kicked in. I decided not to tell him about Vincent and I getting back together yet, don't want to risk his health. After we signed the papers, my dad eagerly invited Vincent over for a small get-together. I'd been thinking about collaborating with Vincent for 2 years, didn't expect my little girl to seal the deal. Vincent remained calm, casually saying, Laura does have some skills. No kidding, my back's still sore. After leaving the meeting room, Vincent caught up with me, still feeling it? Try staying in one position for an hour without moving. He smirked, hooking my finger. Next time, it's your turn. As I got back into Vincent's stretched Pullman, my mood had shifted. No sooner had we arrived, Vincent was all over me, kissing me passionately. Bold and intense. Like he was making up for lost time. I'm only 3 years older than you, not 7 or 8. Not some old guy. No way, you skipped grades, didn't you? Yeah, skipped 3 grades in school, graduated college early too. You and my sister would have made quite a pair. Too bad you never met back then. Laura, it's always been you. You probably forgot, but you were the one who saved me. What a cliché story. He held my face tenderly and told a story that felt almost surreal. He said during his gap year, he fainted while hiking here, and I saved him without hesitation, took him to the hospital. I was chatty and made a lasting impression on him. Honestly, I wanted to say I was a volunteer back then, just eager to encounter a passed-out cute guy. If I didn't run faster, others would have beat me to it, and I'd have to stay the whole summer for insufficient credits. It was just a mix-up. But in his memories, it settled, fermented, turned into a fine wine. And that's how our online romance started. Everything after, we both knew without saying. He caressed my hair, confessing fervently, "I love you." I didn't respond immediately. Because there's always been something I couldn't get over. His mom's humiliation back in the day. Tonight, our villa was bustling with excitement. My sister and her boyfriend were back. Technically her husband. They registered and continued traveling. These past 2 years have been their honeymoon. Vincent's parents accepted my sister. Because she wasn't just a pretty face leading their youngest son astray. She used the 2 years to become a travel blogger, quickly gained followers, and founded a company for in-depth travel experiences. In just 2 years, the company's now global leader in niche travel services. My sister's amazing at everything she does. Compared to her, I feel so weak. My dear Laura, come here, let me give you a hug. Why have you lost so much weight? Big sis, why the sudden warmth? She winked at a man resembling Vincent. Well, I've got a chatty hubby. Alright, enough. I know you lovebirds are sweet, don't rub it in. And you? Heard you turned down his big brother, and he cried all night. Didn't he try to win you back? Cry. As if, Vincent, the man himself, would cry. Then I heard something that shocked me even more. Felix came over, holding my sister close. Laura, you probably don't know, but he barely managed without you those 2 years. Worked to numb the pain during the day, cuddled a pillow resembling you at night. My sister nodded, I can vouch for that. When we visited him in England, he was obsessively looking at your photos, laughing and crying. Even printed one to hang by his bed. Seriously, he's the ultimate romantic. Dinner was lively. My dad outright announced his retirement, planning a world trip with my mom. Vincent tapped a wine glass, Mr. and Mrs., when Laura and I get married, you must return. We just reconciled our first day. And he's already talking marriage. I pinched him under the table, he just laughed deeper, already picked the spot, a South Pacific island I bought for Laura. That night, he drank a lot. Had arms around my dad, talking like an old comrade. Never, ever should you hit Laura. Buddy, do you know, when she hurts, it kills me? My dad, too drunk to find his bearings, shouted to no one, bro, I'm such a fool, shouldn't have hit your wife. Rest assured, I'll treat her like a deity from now on. No need. I frowned, helping Vincent to my room. He stared at the photo wall, lost in thought. Even after I showered, strolling around lightly dressed in front of him, he was unfazed. Vincent, what's up? Smiling goofily, he pointed at a photo. This was my first love. I glanced, it was one of me volunteering. So embarrassingly awkward. I dragged him over, hugging his waist. Focus on your wife, forget the first love. He held me tighter. First love and wife, both are you. Guess he wasn't that drunk after all. I always kinda wondered how such a boring person like him could send such flirty messages during our online dating days. Tonight, after chatting with his brother, I got it instantly. He had some help. What are you thinking about? You're not focused, he said, holding my wrist and leaning in. I tilted my head back, looking at his face, just thinking, I'm glad you didn't give up on me. He kissed the corner of my mouth like it was precious. Laura, marry me. I don't want to wait anymore. Okay. He slipped the ring onto my ring finger in a totally unconventional way. Even though I agreed to marry him, I knew I needed to win over his parents first. So I couldn't slack off. At least, I had to show his mom I'm not just some pretty face who's spending his money. Ever since I took over the company, I've been running around like crazy. Balancing everything made me realize how hard my dad had it. No wonder he was always ready to lose his temper. Just being me, I could lose it in every meeting. The busier I got, the less I saw Vincent. Our dates turned into video calls while eating, pretending it's a date. Only when working on projects with his family did we meet. I joked, didn't expect I'd have to use work as an excuse to see my fiancé. I scratched my head awkwardly, can't help it, just took over, still getting the hang of things. Need my help? I've been there, got some experience, he offered. I shook my head repeatedly, no need. Vincent seriously stopped me. Laura, we need your input on some details, come over. I walked over, only to be surprised when he pulled me into a corner for a long kiss. What are you doing? My lipstick's all messed up. If you keep this up, I'm considering taking the project back myself. No way. I had ambitions, I couldn't let him mess up my plans. So, I used my charm. The hotel is next door, how about a date? That's more like it. He's so easy to handle. Give him a little and he's like clay in my hands. And just like that, I postponed our wedding for another year. This year, I grew a lot. I was finally able to stand confidently in front of his mom. On our first official meeting, this aunt who once looked down on me warmly took my hand. Laura, you're finally here. We've been waiting for this day. I picked out 8 wedding dresses for you to try. Her enthusiasm was a bit overwhelming. I privately asked Vincent why this change. He casually said, I told her if it's not you, I'd bring a guy home. I gave him a scornful look, are you sure you don't like guys? Come on, don't you know what I like? How else should I prove it? Thinking of my back, I kept quiet. After winning his parents over, our wedding planning sped up. At my dress fitting, I saw him in the mirror, tall and handsome, watching me intently. What was he thinking? I turned and smiled, waving for him to come. He walked over slowly, then suddenly knelt and kissed my hand. Laura, will you marry me? And me, loving fun and socializing, always ranked at the bottom in my class. But I nodded, I will. On our wedding day, the island was so peaceful. We only invited close friends and family, no business vibe at all. My sister and her husband shared a romantic dance, setting the whole mood. We sneaked away from the wedding chaos, snuggled together. Watching the poetic sunset, the sunset glow like wine. He said the one thing he couldn't hide in this life is his love for me. Then sang me a Cantonese love song. I believed the lyrics were his words to me. I replied with another song, My love. May we never part through the ages.